Welcome back to Safa's Unscripted, episode 119. We're doing this episode on a Wednesday evening. We usually do it on a Thursday evening, but we don't have any squads. Unfortunately, no Brett here tonight. Only myself and Brevan. Brett has no electricity. Eskom got taken out of the team, Marco van Staden for even Etzebeth, and therefore Eskom decided to shut down the power there at Brett's house as well. Brevan, my brother, how you doing?
Not too bad, not too bad. Just been preparing for this because I'm going to the game on Saturday and it's my birthday on Saturday. So I really hope the Boks can pay me a victory. I mean, if it could be any time, it's now. Because I've been to 2 All Blacks games. One at Loftus, one at Ellis Park, and both we've lost. So I'm just hoping this is the one, So, just preparing for a good time and good atmosphere. Just super keen.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I've never seen the Boks play live, right? I don't know if you know that. I've never seen them play live. But dude, I live in Cape Town. The thing is, we don't get Bok games. It's always being played in Loftus or at Ellis Park. Well, I could probably get tickets for this one, but then I have to buy a season ticket for the Stormers. And like you could literally go to every Stormers game and not pay the season ticket price. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I'm not blowing my whole salary on that. Anyway, big news. Eben Etzebeth. Brett predicted it in the previous video. He said, "Listen, Eben Etzebeth's going to come in, and he thinks he's going to the bench with Marco van Staden falling off." Thoughts?
I think it's the right call, and the reason I say it, and
go to the bench.
And the reason I say he shouldn't start is. Imagine what it does to a mindset of a player, right? You've been named to start against the All Blacks, right? And Eben's done this, 20-odd times? This is his 23rd time in a row he's facing the All Blacks.
Yeah.
And a guy like Rowan Nokia, for example, imagine the confidence you break him from if you say, well, there goes your start, No.
So are you purely basing it on the fact that we already named the team?
Yeah, but also, look, I don't think Eben's 100%.
Brett also mentioned that, but in the end, business, right?
No, but that's what I was going to say. Many people say this is the big boy league, your feelings don't matter. So, but at the same time, if he had an issue, unless it's mind games, then I don't know. But if it was mind games, I think he'd go straight to the starting lineup, and I think the team would have been noted about it. But no, I think there genuinely might be an issue, and he's just been able to push through, and that's why he's on the bench, which is fine. Give him 30 minutes off the bench, 35 minutes, and then he's ready to go for a start next week. So yeah,
I don't think there is actually something that still irritates him. I think he is like at least 90% fine to play, but I do agree with you in terms of. Maybe it's better that he comes from the bench. I said it in the previous episode that I would actually just start him because if you can get the most minutes out of Eben, why wouldn't you do that, right? But then I sat and I thought today, like, what could be the reasoning behind it? And I'm not saying this is the reason at all, but you've got a hungry Ruan Orkia and Pieter Steff there, right? They've kind of put their mind to it that they are starting, especially Ruan Orkia. He'll be hungry to come out for this game. And then you bring off the bench a hungry Eben Etzebeth to know, listen, I'm either going to chase the game or seal the deal here. I've got the experience coming off the bench, right? So I just kind of think it's not the worst move in the grand scheme of things. Pieter Steff Toya and all those boys, they've still got a world of experience to see it through the start, and then you just bring off Eben Etzebeth. Let's say you have the lead, you've got the All Blacks chasing the game, and all of a sudden you're bringing Eben Etzebeth off the bench, right? I just kind of think it's not the worst move in the world. I have no issues with it at all. I actually brought it up to Brett that I feel a bit bad for Eskom. I think he's such an underrated player for us. Like, he doesn't really get his flowers, but when he comes onto the field, you never sit there and you think like, oh, I'm really missing Sia at the moment. Even though Sia's had a great game. Like, that's just how good of a campaigner Marco van Staden is. Just steady performance after steady performance. What's your thoughts on Marco van Staden getting I wouldn't say the boot, but getting dropped. Do you think that's the right call, or would you have gone Ulrich?
It's tough because actually I thought it would be Ulrich. I'm not gonna lie. Considering it's always been Van Staden and Kwagga on the bench since the Irish tests. So, obviously Kwagga started, but Van Staden was on the bench. But yeah, it's. I think it's the right call because I think Ulrich has something there. Like I don't know how to explain it. Ulrich is fighting for a position in the team,
They said
and
he can jump in the lineout as well, or come up or come
yeah,
onto the field as a lock replacement if need be as well. So kind of makes sense in that department.
yeah, and like he can cover probably a lock if in emergency he can cover 6, 7, and 8. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think whereas Escom could only cover 6. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I actually saw a clip on Twitter today where it was SA Rugby Mag that was talking, and they were talking about the game that we played against the All Blacks before the World Cup at Twickenham, and said how much can we take from that game? Because obviously people would say it's a warm up game, right? But we kind of put out a very strong team. They played their full strength team, and we kind of played without real pressure on us. Like you saw a different gameplay where we said, listen, we're gonna run with the back line, but we're also gonna use our physicality in the maul, but we're not gonna be afraid to take the attack to the All Blacks. And then they mentioned, well, in the what was it in the I forgot, in the World Cup final when we met them again, we just reverted back to like just grinding it down.
Mm.
Would you think? Listen, we just back the game plan and we say, listen, we take the attack to them. That's what we've been working
Yeah,
on with Tony Brown.
I think the World Cup final is a different scenario, and the reason I say that is as much as Rassi is very bold and he's very got a lot of I don't know how to explain. Like he does the bold call 99% of the time, but in a World Cup final, like you kind of just want to make sure you get the job done, and you want to do that in the most effective way possible. So the way we were doing it in the World Cup final, I think, was the right way to do it. But now, like you said, with the pressure off, well, not necessarily pressure off, but not being a World Cup final, I think they definitely will take that. We're going to see a different Springbok team that played the All Blacks in the World Cup final to now. Completely different setup, game plan, everything. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. And I mentioned it to Brett previously as well. I was like, even if Sasha, for instance, struggles Saturday against the All Blacks, I want to see him backed for the next game as well. Like, you got to give this guy confidence. Now he's got added taste. I wouldn't be surprised if he struggles a bit. Like, it's a massive occasion. It's the biggest rivalry in the sport, right? So you wouldn't be surprised if he struggles a bit. Obviously, we don't wish that on him. We wish it, we wish that he embraces this situation and flourishes, right? But even if he struggles, I want to see him back for that Cape Town game as well to kind of give him that confidence and say, yeah, you can have a 1 or 2 off games, but you are the 10. You are the 10 going forward, and we want to back you in that. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, and I think what's important in Rassi's press conference was he said, "Let the kid go out there and make mistakes." Like that's literally those were his words, and if that's how a coach should handle a young player like that, because they are bound to make mistakes. But at the same time, I know Sasha writes. I do expect him to make a few silly errors here and there, but I know he'll make up for it in the game because he's that type of player. I mean, we saw it against Australia. I mean, as much as people saying he had a poor game, I think he had some very good parts to it and some bad parts to it, and it was tough conditions. So he'll learn, and I just think it's important for him to also stay in the setup at that 10 position because that's how he's going to grow. So I think Rassi believes the same.
Yeah, and the positive thing about it is, like, even though he didn't really have the best game against the Wallabies, I wouldn't say it was a bad game, but it clearly wasn't his best, right? But it wasn't like he folded under pressure. Like, the mistakes that he made were kind of just unforced errors that anyone can do, like that knock on that he had. Wet ball, knocks it on. Otherwise, that is a try, right? If you just scored that try, scoreline looks even better, and you're like, well, Sasha scored a try as well, right? And then the other one was like he kicked the ball out, or didn't kick the ball out for a penalty, or kicked it directly out from a kickoff. Like it's just silly errors, but it's not something like the pressure got to him and he couldn't handle the moment, or something like that, which kind of gives me a little bit of confidence. But I want to move over to the All Blacks, because obviously we need to talk about the Wallabies and Argentina as well. What would your expectations be as an All Black supporter? Like, I saw guys saying like they could still be the favorites. I know we are wildly the favorites. I do not agree with the betting odds. But like, what would your expectations be for the All Blacks? Do you think that they have a solid chance, or not really?
I think they do have a chance. You can't be oblivious to that. Like, we saw an All
History's
Blacks
in their
team.
favor.
Yeah, but not only that. Like the last time like I've mentioned this a lot of times. I think the score was 26-10. Then they came to Ellis Park the week after, and they beat us. Now, we played an All Black side there that I believe was very poor as well. As well. I say they weren't up to All Black standard, let's say that.
Yeah.
And they came to Ellis Park, and then, boom, they blew us out the water and were up to All Black standard. And I think this is the same thing, you know. I fully expect a good performance from the All Blacks. They will think that a successful tour here, realistically, is probably getting at least one win. They probably even believe they can get two. So, yeah, I think All Blacks fans, like us Springbok fans, expect the best out of our team no matter what circumstance they're under. I mean, even under Alistair Coetzee, we were like saying, I don't care if you're Alistair Coetzee, we want results, you know, and we believe we can still beat the All Blacks with him at the coaching table. So,
I mean, the All Blacks could lose to Namibia and they will pitch up against the Springboks. That's just like form. It feels like this is one of those games, and you hear it a lot during like a football match or a soccer match, if you want to, like in the build up, and it's just like form goes out the window. It's just the atmosphere literally carries you, the moment, the moment kind of just carries you in this game, and you're just like up for the fight. We know they're gonna try and match us physically. They are big boys. They are strong boys. We've seen how much their scrum has improved. And I'm sure they want a stamp of authority when it comes to scrum time. I mean, we saw it in the World Cup final, our bomb squad that everyone raved about. Obviously, they were crazy good in the World Cup, but then coming up against the All Blacks team that was chasing the game, we got our ass handed to us at scrum time. Do you remember?
Yeah. That last scrum gave me some proper frights. Like, I was so scared. I thought we were going to get blown for something the way they were coming forward. But then obviously Jasper, great pick up and go. But the thing is,
that's been his final carry for in the Springbok jersey. So I'm excited to see him this weekend.
Yeah, of course. The All Blacks will definitely think that there's something going for them here because, like you said, it's a derby. And to be honest, the All Blacks have a lot of love in South Africa. People don't realize that.
Cape Town game.
Cape Town game especially, but I've been to an Ellis Park game and Loftus game where there are a fair amount of All Black supporters. And I'm not sure how the situation is in New Zealand, but I feel like they have a lot more fans here than we have there. So
yeah, of course
they're gonna feel comfortable here.
Listen, people talking about like there's 60 million people, yeah, about 20 million of them are All Blacks fans. Like, bro, I'm not even joking. Like,
that's crazy.
It's absolutely crazy. They're gonna come to Cape Town, right? And it's gonna be 50-50 split with the supporters. Because I mean, I don't think I've ever been to a place where I haven't spoken to someone and they're like, yeah, I like the All Blacks, bro. It's just like it's one of those things. It's just like All Blacks fans absolutely everywhere. And the thing is, like, what's the weather there near Ellis Park?
So Friday it's going to be a bit chilly, maximum of 16, and then Saturday is a maximum of 19. Probably be about.
Okay, is there rain? Is there no rain?
No rain.
Okay, that's okay, right? Because I'm scared of this Cape Town game because it's steaming down here at the moment. Like, it's piss cold, right? Like, I think it's the coldest winter that we've had in about 500 years. Like I've never witnessed this type of cold. So, Cape Town's always renowned for its nice weather until
Uh,
this year. And I just think that plays perfectly into the All Blacks' hands. I am so nervous for that game because we just fumble the bag when we have to play in rain, and I hate it. So
mm.
we have to win this game at Ellis Park.
One,
We
yeah,
literally have to.
yeah. I completely agree. I think if there's one game we have to win, it's this one, this first one. Second
Yeah,
one, it's going to be probably even tougher than the first one. So, yeah, crazy,
yeah.
crazy.
Anyway, let's wrap it up for this game. What's your official prediction for your Super Brew?
I haven't been doing that, but because I'm so bad. But if I have to go with a prediction, I think the Box take it by 4. So I'm going to say about 29-25.
Oh, that's a good prediction, to be fair. I feel a bit more confident than you. I actually before I do my prediction, I saw a guy on TikTok. I can't remember his name, but he made a video. He's like, "I've never felt more confident as an All Black supporter that we'll actually go and win this game. They've got a locking crisis. We've
I
got
saw
Scott
that.
Barrett back." And he was just like bigging it up totally. And then his friend was just like, "Yeah, I don't agree, bro." But so uh, there's two perspectives. It's like kind of South Africa has to win this game. Like, how can you not win this game? And then on the other hand, I'm like, well, the All Blacks have everything to play for at the moment, and that makes them bloody scary.
Mhm.
Like, people are writing them off, and we know how it works when you write these guys off. You just can't do that. But saying that, I'm going Springboks by 8 points. I don't think
Yeah.
it's too unfair, really.
It's not unfair. If you look at how the both teams have started the rugby championship,
Yeah,
I think it's
if the
fair.
Springboks somehow have like a 5 point lead by the end of it, and then we just kick a penalty to secure it, like, I don't know, that's 8 points. It's not
Yeah,
too much of a stretch.
it's it's not a hiding either. I know people start worrying when like you get beat by 8 or 9 points. Like I still don't see that as a hiding. It's still
Yeah, because there's different ways that you can kind of win by 8 points. I mean, if you have 15 points in the lead and they score one in stoppage time and kick it over, it's 8 points. But that's dominant, right?
yeah.
Anyway, it's just perspective. Let's go on to Argentina, Wallabies. Brevan, I'll give you the floor. What's your initial thoughts that comes to mind thinking about this game? Obviously being played in Argentina as well.
I think this is the time for the Wallabies to say, listen, we have something left. Like this is because if they lose both these games against Argentina, it's going to get very ugly in the Bledisloe Cup because that losing to Argentina twice, you cannot tell me that will not ruin your confidence. I don't care if it's in Argentina, it's still a bit like bruising on the confidence. So the Wallabies have to show up now. Like there's no more time for. I understand that you're developing a game plan and you're developing a way and a system and a brand of rugby you want to play, but you still need a win while you're doing that. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's important that they get at least one victory done in this little 2 match going between the two of them.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, it feels like I'm the only one that's still kind of like backing the Wallabies.
I don't know.
I mean,
I feel like
because you have to put it in perspective, right? Obviously, they had comfortable, should have had comfortable victories over Wales, but just let them back in. But they got those victories. Georgia's been looking good, but they beat them. Obviously, you expect them to beat those guys, right? But didn't they like? No, they smashed Georgia in the World Cup, didn't they? I'm not too sure. Can't even remember. But anyway, then like kind of to go and play against the number one team in the world who just won the World Cup, who's on scintillating form. In that first game, you saw we smashed them, but then the second half, kind of they crawled back into the game. I wouldn't say crawled back into the game to win it, but they just like showed some promise. And when you play a game against a team that's just physical like us in torrential rain, that's not going to do you any favors when you have a pack that is struggling and you have guys in the back line who's literally their main goal is just to run and be creative. But you're playing up against, in that weather, against the best rush defense in the world. I mean, I think people are being very, very harsh on an Australian team that had absolutely nothing go their way in those two tests against us. Obviously, in the first test, you could probably say that first half, but I think they were kind of the better team in the second half. And then you look at the second game, first half, a 1 point game, they could have been in the lead. And then we bring out the main guys and they just got smashed. Do you understand what I'm saying? Are we
Yeah,
being too harsh, or do you think I'm being too lenient towards
no, I think
this new look Wallabies team?
realistically, you can't really give them like a proper evaluation against the best team in the world or
Yeah,
one of
I
the
think
best
this
teams
is
in the
the
world.
perfect time to evaluate them now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is the time to perform because now there's no place to hide. You're playing against
Yeah,
opposition that isn't at the top level, very inconsistent, um, are a decent outfit at the same time, but like I said, inconsistent. So if they can get a win, at least one, I think it's a fairly good job done because, like I said, Argentina has potential to be top three in the world, and then they have the potential to be like top 12. Like that's how that's it's just how it is. So yeah, very inconsistent team. So I expect to see an Argentina that 1 week goes and absolutely blows the Wallabies out the waters, and then the next week I completely expect to see them struggle against the Wallabies. So we'll
yeah.
see.
Yeah, it's also a massive opportunity for Argentina to finally say, listen, we need to move up and we need to beat both of these teams. Will feel like we need to beat the other team twice, right?
Yeah,
Not just get one win, because Australia, they kind of have nothing to lose but everything to gain, and they need to earn that respect back, right? Where Argentina, on the other hand, is like, well, we usually lose one against them. We usually place last in the Rugby Championship. But if by some miracle South Africa beats the All Blacks twice and we can get two victories over Australia, then all of a sudden we stand a chance for the Rugby Championship. So they have the opportunity to make history as well. They got to play and they're going to say, listen, we've got the home ground. We want to take the next step in our game. We did beat the All Blacks, and once again we fell way short in the game after. But let's fix that. Let's try and fix that, right? So I'm almost blatantly lied and said I'm almost more excited for this game than our game, but I'm still very excited for this game. I think it's going to be a fiery, high-scoring game.
yeah.
You thinking a lot of points in this one?
I think so because both defenses aren't looking too great. I think a lot of it, Argentina looked great defensively in the first game, although they still let through 30 odd points.
Oh, they looked
Second
shocking in the
game,
second.
second game, I mean that defense was disgraceful. But then you get the Wallabies, and it's like, yes, you played against the Springboks, but I still saw a lot of defensive flaws there. So
Yeah, yeah,
could be a high scoring game for sure.
yeah. Okay, let's predict it.
So this one, I'm gonna go Argentina to win, and I'm gonna say the 32-20, 32-27. I'll say that.
I've got Australia by 4.
Okay, I have Argentina by 5.
Yeah, I've got it.
I mean, it's not crazy to say. It's not
I've got it
crazy.
30 points to 26, something like that. Um, I don't know. I feel like Argentina, we talk about them being emotional and stuff. Like, I feel like they perform better outside of Argentina than they perform in
Yeah,
Argentina. Like, if I think about it, like, when was the last time that we lost to Argentina in Argentina, except for that Alistair Coetzee era where we just lost against absolutely everyone?
I
But it's
think
like
we lost to
they
them.
do. Yeah, sorry, go.
No, Rusty's first rugby championship, 2018. I remember losing there.
Okay, yeah,
Because
but
I
that's
remember.
part of kind of the Alistair Coetzee era. Like,
Yeah, I
we
guess, I guess. But like they're just a hot and cold team wherever they
yeah,
go. Like,
listen, it's not easy to go there. Not easy to go there and win at all. But I just feel like we kind of they blitzed us a bit, but then we made that comeback victory against them in Argentina, right? But when they played us over here, it's like we didn't even come close to deserving to win that game, yet we just scraped over the line. And it's been like that for a while. They've beaten the All Blacks in All Blacks territory, but they got hammered literally the previous season by the All Blacks right there in, is it Mendoza? Right? I don't know. It doesn't fill me with confidence when they play in Argentina. I think the tears get to them and they just forget that they have to play rugby. But anyway, I'm going Wallabies by 4, and you said Argentina by
5.
5. Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Let's wrap it up. Thank you everyone for watching. Please do remember to like and subscribe. We do appreciate each and every one of you guys. And happy birthday to Brevan for Saturday. Obviously, you'll see us again on Monday morning, and then Brevan is 1 year older. Then he looks about 52.
Hopefully the Boks are 1 victory up against the All Blacks. That would be great.
Anyway, cheers.